What's up, all you preppers out there? The Bearded Prepper here. I finally made it home. Made my way through with the rental car. Although it wasn't, smooth sailing. They still made mistakes on my rental agreement, tried to charge me an extra $500 because they didn't have it situated right, saying that they thought I was returning the car where I picked it up, even though I clearly stated and indicated otherwise. Our service industry is really taxed. It's really falling apart. Our normal everyday services we've grown accustomed to, like rental cars, grocery stores, they're just not the same. Nor are they likely to be for a long time. Actually, they're probably going to get much worse. So if you've been following along on my journey on YouTube, you know that I stand for use of common sense. Not, the sky's falling, scare tactics, but hey, let's be prepared. Look at what's going on around us, and let's use our common sense. We don't need to buy, 50 pounds of freeze-dried potatoes. Who's going to eat that many? Maybe some, but let's use our common sense. Let's think about the things that we're going to want to have and the things that we can save the longest and the easiest. Anyway, this episode is not about rental cars. It's not about survival food or preps. It is about survival after the situation has gone down. Once we have found ourselves in a survival situation, or a situation that we've been preparing for, where we no longer have access to food, can no longer afford food, maybe we're choosing to not participate in the way of life where the government tells you what you will and won't do, or else they don't let you eat or don't let you have. I mean, any number of scenarios. There's for as many preppers as there are out there, there's that many different scenarios on what's going to go down, what's going to go wrong. So today I want to talk to you about thriving after the situation has arisen. One thing that I realized recently is I was not as well prepared as I needed to be should I find myself no longer able to use my power tools, or maybe I don't have routine access to fuel to power my chainsaw. Granted, I have axes, things of that nature, but do you really want to cut all your firewood with an axe? There's got to be a more efficient way. So what I did is I went to my local secondhand store. Most communities have one, and we have one in our community. The gentleman is quite nice. He and his family run it, and they get a collection of antiques, this and that. They have a little bit of everything in there. But as far as firewood, since I started with that, I got a collection. I actually ended up getting 3 bow saws. This one actually has a new blade on it. It's got a little patina on it, but it's still a brand new blade. All of them has sharp blades. While we're at it, these things tend to get broken or something happens to them. If you're in a long-term situation where you don't have access to maybe replacements, I was also, in addition to the 3 saws, I was able to procure replacement blades. He had 4 for the largest one I got, which is even bigger than this one. So I went ahead and grabbed those because they were there. They were affordable. And if we have a true need for these and this is all we can really use, what do you think is going to happen to the value, folks? I mean, saving money by buying ahead. And even if I'm not without electricity, that's a whole lot lighter to carry a distance in the woods with me if I'm packing somewhere. So, and still, you're going to think about needing to do things around the house, needing to build things. Good old handsaw, folks. We all grew up with it. It's tried and true. Make sure you have a dependable one in your preps so that you have a way to, build things and such after you no longer have access to things like electricity, such as that. And so, while we're talking about that, I won't drag every tool I have out here, but we have hacksaws, shovels, picks, hoes, various different gardening and farming type equipment, things along those lines. Just a wide variety of hand tools, manual tools. So if I don't have electricity or I don't have access to fuel to power gasoline powered tools and such, and you see right here, I've got my old handy hand drill. It's right in my face here in most of my videos, hanging out here in my fallback location. But think along those lines. What kind of work would you have to do and what would it take to do that manually if you had no access to modern equipment or modern technology, if you had to go back to doing things the old way, just to make sure you have it. I mean, I was out of a few dollars here today, but you can't put a price tag on peace of mind. So one other thing that you may not have thought about, and I have a whole library of books. For those younger viewers that don't remember, books are what we used to have before cell phones, tablets, and computers. And you actually had to read the words. This one's on wild edibles. I have several versions of this. It has pictures. It talks about how to eat, what parts of the plant you can eat, how to identify lookalikes that may be poisonous. And also, I have some books on canning, different things like that, recipe books for jellies or different canned products as well. I have, books on, there was an old series back in the 70s that started maybe even earlier than that. It's called the Foxfire series. I have almost all of those books and similar books that tell you how to do everything from tanning hides to how to skin a bear, how to make a garden, how to build a log cabin, how to do a lot of things. Documenting that knowledge from our ancestors. So I recommend that you have that included as well. Use your common sense, folks. Make sure you're prepared for a short-term survival situation. Make sure that you not only have looked at your food and shelter, your economic preparations as much as possible, your safety and your security. Look at what you're gonna need after that for longer term survival. I had a recent series about seeds and preparing a long-term seed storage, things of that nature. So look at your situation, think about what you're likely to need, and just kind of start prepping. Once you get your basics covered, look at the next phase. What am I going to need to not just survive, but exist long term? How can I feed my family once our preps have run out? So, as always, I seek the wisdom of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ first. Use my common sense, use my brain that God gave me. Make sure that I'm prepared, not just for initial survival, but if I find myself in a situation where I need to survive longer term, or my family needs to survive longer term, we'll have the equipment and the tools we need. So until next time, God bless. I'm the Bearded Prepper, signing off.